everybody, this is Taff coming in with another Taff's Word on football, and I think this one is quite, it's labelled, but we're going to go into it in too much detail really, but I'm labelling it what is a foul. Now this is going to be covering everything from fouls on goalkeepers to what people are getting penalties for these days, what referees are dishing out red cards for at the end of the day, and then basically to the point where players are engineering situations in which they're winning free kicks, which would seem fair, but it's not an attempt to actually play the football, it's actually an attempt to win the free kick. Like I said, engineering, but we're going to cover it all. And there's been quite a lot of controversy lately and a lot of split and difference in opinion with regards to what is a foul these days and what's deemed as a dangerous foul. Now, rewind 10, 15 years ago and you see the kind of challenges you get putting in then and how many legs got broken, how many players got seriously injured back then. For me personally, I don't think there's been any more or any less injuries than what you're currently getting now. But back then, these tackles were deemed as fair, but now you're getting red cards for them. So, starting with obviously the Delph foul last night, which he got sent off for. I can't accept that that's a red card, unfortunately. I've always known an exciting game of football where it really gets you going when a meaty challenge is put in because a player wants to win the ball for your team that much. Not much damage gets done because these players are athletes, but legs do get broken from bad challenges and things like that, yes. But legs get broken just by running in the first place, by taking a funny landing or a turn or a trip. Injuries happen. A lot of injuries happen without any contact from another player. So, yes, some challenges could be deemed as bad. Over the ball, I understand, because you are studs in over the ball, and then you are running the risk of breaking someone's leg, and I get that. But that's the thing. I mean, the way I see it, a studs showing over the ball is going in, studs right up, right into someone's leg, into a position where you're going to snap their bone. Now, by just going in with a hard challenge, for me, is not dangerous. It is winning the football back by all means necessary. And if 10, 15 to 20 years ago it was fair, and then you go even further back, I think as time has been going on, football has been getting softer and softer and softer, to the point now that we're going to have to declare the game a non-contact sport just so everybody knows exactly where they stand. Because I can't fathom a difference in opinion on the rules of football. The rules, as they are clear. But then a dangerous foul isn't clear. And I believe that it's flawed. It's flawed to the point that a dangerous foul is... a Roy Keane on Arfinger Haaland, to me, is a dangerous foul. Fabian Delph last night, to me, was not a dangerous foul. It was a rash challenge to get the ball. A foul, yes, I'd given the foul if I was the referee, but you can't send the guy off. Even a yellow card, in my opinion, would be potentially a bit harsh for that. And then there's a lot of other fouls that people have been getting sent off for. Like, why are you sending people off for these? He's made a genuine attempt to win the ball. I think that's where that grey area's got to be split. An attempt to win the ball or an attempt to harm the player. Now, Mason Holgate on Roberto Firmino. For me, why isn't that a red card? Because for me, that was more of an attempt, more of a dangerous act of play, shall we say, than what Fabian Delph did last night. For my team, Newport County, Robbie Wilmot got body checked into the hoardings on purpose. There wasn't any attempt to play the ball. He was put into that. He put into that with it, and he got a broken nose, The thing is, someone could punch you and give you a broken nose and it would be an immediate red card because it's violent play. What's the difference? Pushing someone into the crowd, pushing someone into the boards, it happens a lot and it shouldn't be allowed. I think that's possibly one of the most dangerous things, is you're not just endangering the player, but because they've been pushed into supporters, you're endangering supporters. If you push someone into the crowd, that should be an instant red card if you're looking at violent play. And I'm going to move on to penalties now. Penalties. Virgil van Dijk on Eric Lamela is not a penalty, because for me, if you're going to get a penalty, it's got to actually be a foul. Now, I've mentioned about players engineering fouls, leaving their foot in intentionally, crossing someone's path and tripping yourself up over them because you know that you're going to be able to get that. That's engineering a foul, and as far as I'm concerned, it's cheating. Because what's the difference between physically putting yourself into a position to get fouled, knowing you're going to get fouled, and you're tactically making it happen? I think that's worse than diving, in my opinion. A dive is a dive, and sometimes a player can just go down with the momentum, and then he'll go down and think, damn, I shouldn't have done that. But an attempt to engineer a foul is tactically and thoughtfully played out. So the player knows what he's doing and he executes it. Some dives are that way, yes. But a dive is a dive, and you're more likely to get caught for a dive than not win a free kick or a penalty by engineering a foul. So you're going to stand much more of a chance of winning that foul. I personally think engineering fouls should be deemed in the same way as a dive and cheating. Because you tell me, what is the difference? It was saying, oh, that's clever play, that is. No, that's clever because he knows what he's doing, and he hasn't been actually fouled to win a free kick. He's engineered the foul himself to win a free kick. And if the player who's penalised for that free kick hasn't had any intent of fouling them, or hasn't made a fair attempt at going for the ball, I can't say how you can penalise the guy. I mean, you get the experts saying it now. We're even talking players like Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville, who ex-defenders, who could have been the victim of this once, or more than once in the past. You leave your leg out, you're opening yourself up for the foul. If you leave your leg out and the player runs into your leg on purpose to fall over it, then for me, that's just as bad as diving, or worse. I mean, if someone leaves a leg in and someone leaves their foot in to be tripped up, that's worse. What Harry Kane did in that Liverpool game with Loris Karius. He left his foot there to feel the contact. You get these... I know I'm talking about Liverpool. I know I've got a bit of a Liverpool bias. But these are just examples. I'm just using these as examples. Calvert-Lewin and Lovren. A hand on his back. And all it was just a hand was placed on his back, or he's opening himself up to it. That's a silly thing to do. No, Calvert-Lewin should have the integrity to only go down when he's fouled. Well, no. If you're going down because you feel something, and you're putting yourself down just because you feel something on you, that's just as bad as a dive. If you're going down because you've been physically pushed down, or you've been physically tripped up or taken out, then yes, it's a foul. And that for me is the difference between a foul and not a foul. And you physically have to be taken out unfairly for it to be a foul. And handballs. We're going to move on to handballs now, and then we're going to go on to fouls on goalkeepers, and then shirt pulling. So handballs, fouls on goalkeepers and shirt pulling. Handballs, I believe if your hand is in an unnatural position, then that's a handball. No matter what, no matter how close you are, if your hand's out there and someone's taking a shot and you're 2 yards away but your hand's out there, it's in an unnatural position, and people can do it on purpose. They put their hands out and block it and think, oh, well, how could I move my hand out of the way? Don't have it there in the first place, that's how. You put your hands down to your side. If it hits you down on your side, down there, and it's right in your side, natural position, yes, that's not a handball. You can't be deemed as a handball. If it's from a distance and you put yourself in front of it and put your hand there, then it's a handball. I think if you lower your body with your hand there, to stop a ball from going through. Like, I know it's Liverpool, but when Liverpool played Sevilla in the UEFA Cup final, I think it was not last year, the year before, Sevilla player got away with blocking a through ball with his hand, and people saying, "Oh, I can't call that handball. His hand's in a natural position." I'm sorry, but his body's not in a natural position because he's squatting down and putting his hand there to block the ball from rolling across the floor. Handball for me. And another one was a penalty action. I know it's Liverpool again, just don't hold that one against me. They're just examples that I can remember off the top of my head right now, right? Vincent Kompany got penalised for a handball against Liverpool in the League Cup semi-final a few years back, and it bounced off his leg and up into his arm. And a lot of people said it wasn't a penalty, but if you look at the shot, it comes off his leg, his arm's out there, and it's going towards goal. That ball is actually going towards the goal from a shot. And he's deflected it, and it's hit his hand, and it's blocked it from going towards the goal. I'm sorry, but for me, that's got to be a handball because you're stopping the ball from actually going towards the goal. And his hand's not in the natural position. His hand was down on his chest like that. I'm sure his hand was up. He'd gone in, he slid in, and his hand was up there, and it blocked it. And if his hand wasn't there, that ball was going to go towards a goal. And sorry, that's not a natural position. That's a natural position. Sometimes when you jump up and you go like that, you can sort of understand. But if you're in the lift part of the jump, or if you're slid in and you're going like that to block it from hitting your face, this was out there like that, and it was going to go to the side of his face. So for me, that's a handball. Right, shirt pulling and fouls on the goalkeeper. Shirt pulling. If you're pulling someone's shirt, no matter where it is in the stadium or on the pitch, you pull someone's shirt, that should be a foul because you're gaining an unfair advantage. If two people are pulling each other's shirts, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, no foul. Either way, just as bad as each other. Leave them to scrap it out to themselves. But if one person pulls one other person's shirt, it's got to be a foul, no matter what. And referees have to start giving penalties because people are pulling people away. And it's not right. It's a foul. Fouls on the goalkeeper now. Goalkeepers are far too protected. All a goalkeeper has to do is make an attempt for a ball in it, and if he gets touched by any opposition player, it's automatically a free kick. I've even seen it going with Newport County, and I seen a goalkeeper run into one of our players and fall down. He actually ran into him physically, purposely. You could see he looked at our player, ran into him, and then bounced back off him and got himself a free kick because he knew he'd get it. You can't create that kind of excuse for a goalkeeper to get off of not defending a corner properly because all he has to do is run into a player or make a challenge with a player and go down, and then it's a foul against him. I'm sorry, but you just can't allow that. I think keepers have got to not have so much protection. If a keeper jumps up for the ball to catch it and then a player jumps into him on purpose, kind of like when a player jumps up for a header and then someone jumps into them on purpose just to stop them from making the header. That's a foul for me. That's a foul on the goalkeeper then. If you jump up and grab the goalkeeper, push him or anything like that, yes, it's a foul. If you make a genuine attempt to go for the ball next to the goalkeeper, and just because the goalkeeper touches you doesn't mean that you should be penalised, in my opinion. So there's that. And I think I've pretty much covered all sorts of fouls, really. Dangerous fouls for me should be also include pushing people in advertising hoardings and things like that. High feet. I think a high foot is a grey area as well, which I'd like to clear up. That's the last one then. Now I'd almost forgotten about high feet. When Mane got sent off, I think it opened up an awful lot of cans of worms, really. It pretty much scrutinised every single high foot. For me, Mane wasn't a sending off because he jumped up to make an attempt to go for the ball, not realising the keeper was sticking his head right in front of him. So, you see Mane's eyes are always fixed on the ball. Keeper comes out and puts a head in. Mane's going for it with his foot. Keeper's a bit of a nutter anyway, but there we go. For me, it's not that shouldn't have been a red card because he's not knowingly endangering anybody. But then you've seen a lot of high boots from then. You've seen high boots go into people's faces. You've seen high boots going to people's abdomens. I think all of it. If you're sending off Manny for that, you declare that a red card offence. That's fair enough. Manny's is a red card, and then everybody else's has got to be from there on. But no, we got no consistency on that. The rules have got to be clear, and the referees have to follow it to the book. But then the shades of grey will be clear to see on any kind of incident, which I think the VAR will help with. VAR has got to be a guy with a set of headphones on and a little mic who's talking to the referee, watching, and he'll see a replay immediately afterwards and tell the referee yes, no, or yellow, red, or whatever. You know, he can be there and he can say it straight away, following the rules of the game. Bang, that's that. That's what VAR should be. VAR shouldn't be a long, drawn-out thing that's going to slow the game down. And at the end of the day, people who say we shouldn't be using VAR are probably people that have got used to, like Man United, for example, used to getting refereeing decisions their way on a regular basis. And that's that. Anybody who's ever been on the bad end of refereeing decisions will want VAR because you want the correct decisions. Like Chelsea in the Champions League semi-final against Barcelona when they should have had 4 penalties in the same game. VAR will work as long as it's done correctly, and in my opinion the correct way of doing it is one guy sat in front of a TV screen with a headset on to speak to the referee and tell him what decision he should make, what would be the correct decision. Referee blogs, the correct decision on this instance would be a penalty. Referee blogs, the correct decision would be that the player was offside when he got the ball and put the ball in the net, so don't give a call. And that's it. It's there on the replay for whoever's there to see, as long as he's following the rules of the game. He shouldn't have any problems, right? There we go. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. It's a pretty long, drawn-out one, but hopefully you've either accept or disagree. I'd love to see some comments that I can reply to down there. Feel free to ask me anything, or even give me a subject that I should be talking about in the world of football right now. Anyway, thanks for that, guys, and until the next time, cheerio for now. Take care.